early man was primarily concerned with survival. He had neither the time nor the inclination to observe the subtleties of his environment. Gradually, he became a skilled hunter. So skilled, in fact, that he found he had time on his hands. Time to take a closer look at this strange planet. He stared in wonderment at the night sky and watched the night melt into day and the heavens yield to the sun. And the sun and stars provided him with light from above. And he remembered this. Soon man noticed shadows, noticed that they revealed form and gave added dimension to the world around him. And he began to record what he saw. His first attempts were crude, lifeless, two-dimensional. Something was missing.
You know, something just don't look right. I'm no art critic, you know, but I like what I like, and, well, it just seems to me something's missing.
Finally, man remembered a phenomenon he observed in nature. The side of an object which faces the sun is brighter than the opposite side. His later creations attempted to capture this feeling.
Hey, I like it. Yeah, that's a heck of a lot better, Harry. It's all right.
And it was a great improvement. Until one day, the great artists of the world convened for the first time to discuss their craft. Where should we place our primary source of illumination? Asked one of the members. No one seemed to know. Should our source of light appear to be coming from below eye level, he asked. The committee turned in a no verdict. Even early cavemen hung torches high in their caves to try to duplicate nature. And surely the sun and stars have established the precedent. The committee agreed that illumination must come from above eye level. What about the angle? Asked one of the membership. Should the source be overhead, to the left of the subject, to his right, over his shoulder perhaps? The question threw the great artists' council into a state of chaos for 10 days. And finally, out of desperation, they turned to Rembrandt, the oldest and wisest, their most respected colleague. Rembrandt thought for a second or two. His eyes flashed, he raised his hand and said,
I think you ought to stick it right about there.
In this electric age, our artificial, artistic equivalent to the sun is called the key light. We place it 30 to 45 degrees above eye level based on Rembrandt's recommendations. The key is placed 30 to 45 degrees to the left or right of the subject with respect to the observer. The observer, in our case, is the television camera delegated to close-ups. Early photographers discovered that this lighting scheme worked well for artists but proved too stark for photographic purposes. Where the eye could observe detail in the shadow areas, photographic film and later the television camera could not. And so a soft film soften them to bring out facial detail eclipsed by the solitary key light. Placement of the soft diffused fill light was not critical. Simply placing it on the opposite side of the viewing axis from the key light seemed to do the trick. Placing the fill light at or close to eye level helped fill in shadows created by eye sockets, an added benefit. Because key light is designed to simulate sunlight, it's harsh and casts hard, crisp shadows, just as the sun does on a clear day. And so key is produced by a spotlight. Again, it's hard and serves primarily to produce shadows, to give form to three-dimensional objects. Diffused lights, floodlights, serve as fill lights. These instruments cast soft, diffused shadows. Placing a spotlight behind the subject adds highlights to the hair and separates the subject from the background. The instrument is placed 30 to 45 degrees above the subject. This light source is called backlight. Backlight is usually located on the viewing axis. Again, for the sake of television, this refers to the close-up camera. Although backlight does not occur in nature, nor was it found in Rembrandt's rule book, photographers generally agree that backlight produces a more pleasing picture. Adding background lights completes our basic lighting setup. Background lights consist of soft floods located to light the background or set without spilling light on the subject. Specially designed background instruments light set walls evenly from top to bottom without producing bright highlights near the top of the set. And there we have it. Key light, fill light, backlight, and background light. Rembrandt never had this kind of flexibility. With a few simple instruments, we can vary the mood of our lighting, or we can produce a pleasing, well-lit picture every time. With the help of an exposure meter with a foot candle scale, we can adjust the relative intensity of our light sources. This Sekonic L28 meter reads directly in foot candles. Turn on the fill light only. Place the meter in front of the subject, aiming the photocell toward the light source. Note the reading. Turn off the fill and turn on the key. Now measure the intensity of the key. It should be 1 1/2 to 2 times the intensity of the fill light. Adjust the key light, flooding or spotting it to produce the desired intensity. Dimmers are more convenient. If you're lucky enough to have dimmers, use them. Again, the key to fill ratio is about 2 to 1 for black and white television, 1 to 1 for color. Because hair can vary from white to blonde to black, and because backgrounds vary so widely both in color and tone, it's impossible to set a value for back and background levels. Use your eye, adjusting these light levels for a pleasing balance with the subject. Keep your eye on that well-adjusted studio monitor. Our thanks to Rembrandt for his foresight and guidance. Thanks, too, to our forefathers whose keen powers of observation lay the groundwork to discovery, and to Tom Edison, who invented the electric light bulb and later discovered the monthly light bill. They provided the tools, gave us direction, and lit the way.